All right, Emmanuel, what do you think of the Yanks extending Aaron Boone?
Yeah, I think it's perfect. I wanted 4 more years for Aaron Boone, but I'll settle for 3 this year plus 2 more. And you target 2027, right? That'll be the final year of Aaron Boone's deal. You'll also be at year 10. Brian Cashman likes his decades with managers. Got it with Joe Girardi. Joe Torre got a little over that mark. Now you got Aaron Boone getting his 10 years. Yankees hope you can compare Girardi and Boone at the end of the day, get that elusive championship. But most importantly, I look at the window, right? Like Judge will be 35 in 2027. Garrett Cole, he'll be 36 years old, second to last year of his contract. Carlos Rodon, second to last year of his contract. When the Yankees got Giancarlo Stanton, we were wondering, when will this contract end? Well, 2027, final year of Giancarlo Stanton's contract. So this is the window for the Yankees to finally get it done. They're saying, Aaron Boone's our guy, fresh off a World Series appearance. By 2027, you have to have that title. And then the Yankees are going to look far different come 2028.
That's really interesting. I didn't do all of that math, but what I did think about is that it pays to be a data applicator, doesn't it? It really does pay to be good at your job when you can do things like that. And what I think when I think about this team is stability. Who doesn't love some stability, right? So first of all, now they know who's going to be leading this team, as Emmanuel alluded to, with some of their bigger names, their bigger contracts, money that's on the books. And Brian Cashman has always instilled faith in Aaron Boone. Whether or not the public agreed, Brian Cashman's had his back time and time and time again. Every situation, every big moment, even in the World Series, whatever Aaron Boone decided, Brian Cashman said he was right. I support him, whatever he wants. And so this is a big deal. It's a vote of confidence, and it's no surprise. I was not surprised at all that they decided to give him this extension and let him lead this team. The young guys, the old guys. He's a player's manager, right? Those guys love him. They trust him, and that's a huge deal, and that's why he got the extension.
Yeah, Boone's never been the problem here, but he does have to get over the hump in the postseason, and he made some questionable moves. He'd admit that himself. He has admitted that himself in Game 1. Maybe if he doesn't make that move and the Yankees win that game, there could have been a different result. Ultimately, he's going to be judged on if he wins a World Series or not, and he's got a couple more years, at least 3 years total, to do that. Let's make the call to the bullpen and welcome in Britt Ghiroli. Britt, Boone gets a lot of criticism. Some have even referred to him as a data applicator. What type of impact do you think that he has on the Yankees?
Look, I think Dani nailed it. It's really tough to... We haven't come up with a formula like WAR or any kind of stat to measure a manager's value. Does he make the Yankees better? I don't think you can necessarily make that case for any modern day manager, particularly a guy like Boone, who through the years, a lot has been made about, does he have any control? Does he get to set the lineup? Does he get to make the in-game decisions, right? If you talk to players who have been there, it doesn't seem like he's got a whole lot of power when it comes to those things. I think they had to make this move because they went to the World Series. But if you look deeper, there's a couple things a manager can control. One of them is fundamentals and how the team does the small things. We saw on the big stage that the Yankees did not do the small things right at all fundamentally. Base running, defense, things like that. Those are a direct reflection of Aaron Boone. They haven't won a championship, as you mentioned, Sal, which is really the huge elephant in the room. But honestly, if they were to, let's say, not extend him and let him go, would anybody be better? That's what you have to ask yourself. The question to that, of course, the answer is no. And Brian Cashman said as much. He said if Aaron Boone became a free agent, teams would be vying for him. I'm not certain that teams would go Craig Counsell and kind of get rid of their manager for him, but he is well respected. Players do generally like playing for him. So to me, this was an obvious move. It's just not a huge move the needle thing. They're not going to win the World Series because of Aaron Boone. They're going to win the World Series because of the moves that they make. And Aaron Boone really has to stay out of the way and not make decisions that really can get criticized and things like what we saw this past fall. I mean, the Yankees have to find a way to get back into that championship caliber team, or Aaron Boone will never be remembered, and rightfully so, as one of the great skippers of the vaunted New York Yankees.
I do think, Britt, you bring up a great point. If they did not get to the World Series a year ago, this would be a different conversation, especially if they lost in the first round of Kansas City. I think Boone he probably would have lost his job. Dani, who's under more pressure this season, Aaron Boone or Carlos Mendoza?
Yeah, I mean, Britt made really, really good points, and so I feel like you could say Aaron Boone, obviously, but I'm going to go Carlos Mendoza. You have Juan Soto, the very first year of him and his tenure, and everything you're going to get from that guy. You want to maximize the potential in the first year, show people what you're really getting, and then you maybe have 1 year of Pete Alonso. You want to get more out of Mark Vientos. You have Luis Angel Acuna Jr., right? You want to make sure that guy is playing up to his potential, and then supporting Francisco Lindor. There's a lot of moving pieces with the New York Mets. You spend that kind of money, and I think the expectations are there. Not necessarily to win the World Series, but you better show up, be consistent, and get your team back to October.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. Danny, not that the expectation has changed for the Yankees, but they made a statement here with this Boone extension. Aaron Boone's their guy. Like, barring a major catastrophe, Aaron Boone is the Yankee manager through 2027. Then maybe they move on, good or bad, in 2027. But Carlos Mendoza, a lot of goodwill for good reason after a dominant year one, I thought, in the Mets dugout. But you look at the change in expectation. Now the Mets have entered that World Series or bust territory year after year after year. I look at the curve. I think it only goes down from here for Carlos Mendoza, because right now, vibes are at an all-time high with this managership.